Alright, this should be an interesting review. Let's go over Beyond Blue After the Storm that's out now for MetaQuest 2, 3, 3S. Also, I did receive early access and in-game code from Meta and Eline Media to create this review. Beyond Blue After the Storm is an adventure simulation and learning type of experience. You'll know why shortly, why I call it an experience rather than a full game. I'll include timestamps in the video if you want to skip to certain parts, like what you should expect as with a side-by-side graphical comparison between Quest 2 and Quest 3 3S. Now, where do I begin my review? Beyond Blue After the Storm, to put it bluntly, is disappointing. Is it the worst game I've played to date starting off 2025? No, it could be if you had moderate expectations, but asking $14.99 is laughable if I'm being completely honest. I was able to complete the entire main campaign in under an hour and 10 minutes. Meta's return policy allows you to request refunds for apps/games if your playtime is less than 2 hours. You get where I'm getting at? This title feels like a free-to-play introduction for VR newcomers, which isn't a bad thing. Very bare bones though. At times, it's enjoyable looking at all the colorful coral reefs, fish, and marine mammals. If you're in range, you can scan them to learn more about them and even restore them back to life with this magical foam gun thing. Beyond Blue After the Storm at times shows promise just like most titles. Playing for the limited time you have, it'll throw you little facts here and there, as the entire game is fully voice acted by real voice actors, which is becoming more rare, so that's a plus. You can also scan all types of ocean life, learning new facts, and in the menu it includes mini documentaries that are more trailer-like in length that you can watch in 2D, missed opportunity for 3D, keep that in mind, giving you insight towards the inspiration of creating this experience from real-world scientists. The story is a combination of fiction and non-fiction. It markets itself as an education experience. What struck me is that in the last chapter of the game, you go full vigilante mode, destroying illegal mining operations in order to save the oceans, which is kind of worth it. A majority of the experience is spent listening to dialogue over comms, following checkpoints, and doing said tasks multiple times. You have a sort of smartwatch on your left wrist telling you where to go next. Touching it will expand your given task. It includes side missions, but it's nothing major. Accompanying you is this robot. He has a bit of personality, and you can switch between perspectives to do the task the human can't do, vice versa. Going to one location, fixing said issue, whether that's burning through metal, repairing a leak with his tool, and on the side, aiding the surrounding biosphere back to life. It's very linear, and the biosphere does have restrictions on how far you can explore. The entire premise of your underwater adventure takes place 10 to 15 years in the future. A severe tropical storm passed through, damaging an underwater research station, and you along with your crew are asked to repair the damage and lend aid to creatures surrounding the biosphere. Then there's sort of a major plot twist that the mission you embarked on is even more dangerous than you could have realized. If you took a geology class before, it's cool. Initially, I was going to discuss spoilers, but if you're an ocean fanatic, maybe you'll be into the experience more than I was. Control schemes in this experience are a bit odd. On the menu, it includes what button does what, but you don't do any actual swimming. It's spent using the left joystick to move and the left joystick to ascend or descend. Press X and A, it gives you a boost to traverse around, although it's plagued by a vignette setting that you can't remove. The dev said they'll address this in a future update. A positive of Beyond Blue that I can include is that the overall ambience with sound design and music isn't bad. Take a listen.
Look, Andre, that mom and her calf. So sweet.
Never gets old, does it?
Moving on, let's see how Quest 2 and Quest 3 3S versions compare in a graphical side-by-side comparison. On both platforms, from their default eye buffer resolution render scale of 1, Quest 2's render scale is 1440 by 1540, and Quest 3 3S render scale is 1680 by 1760. Both versions are downscaled to a much lower resolution at 86% on both headsets. On the OVR metrics overlay is that RS scale, usually the higher percentage the better. On Quest 3 it looks passable, although reading text is a bit awkward. But on Quest 2 it's a aliasing mess. I wouldn't get this game at all on Quest 2. Quest 2 is aging hardware, but a majority of people still have the headset. Both versions lack optimization, and really on Quest 3 3S it doesn't take advantage of the hardware at all. On standalone it has extremely low level of detail, so environmental objects and terrain texture is constantly appearing out of nowhere. For a title that's an hour or so, it's not very polished. There's quite a bit to be desired. One aspect I do enjoy is the ambience. The rays of light hitting the ocean floor is neat, however they forgot to attach the game part. Beyond Blue After the Storm isn't worth picking up at $14. On sale that could be a different story as a cool little experience, but anything above $5 is a bit much. It's not really a quote-unquote game, but more along the lines of a short interactive linear experience with some charm. It feels outdated, reminiscent of 2016 VR titles. Honestly, 2016 VR titles had a bit more than this. Control schemes and comfort options in settings are really limited for a VR title. On Meta Storefront, the developer has at least been receptive to feedback and promised to issue an update later on addressing issues like not being able to turn off vignette. Which is cool to see, but it seems like a quick cash grab at the Quest storefront. I can only judge what it currently offers, and it's not much to be honest. Overall, disappointed. I was actually looking forward to playing this title, Beyond Blue After the Storm. Short review this time around. Don't want to make the review longer than the game itself. Leave a like or dislike, subscribe for similar VR content and ramblings from me. Until the next video, see ya.